Hello, my name is Angelo, and this is my Ikigai defense about the plague of architectural segregation and anti-homelessness. So, what is it? Architectural segregation is essentially just using the urban environment or the physical environment to separate people, and this can be done through bridges, overpasses, freeways, highways, and other infrastructure. And more commonly known, anti-homelessness is simply the act of discriminating against unhoused people. So the roots, where does this passion come into play? Where did it start? So interior design is probably, I would like to say, the basis for my love for architecture. I always loved interior design. I would play games that would allow me to look at an interior space and design it to my liking, and I think that bled into my love for architecture. As I got to apply my knowledge of interior design and put it into architecture as well, as they go hand in hand with each other. And I think that really, this love or this foundation of love for both of these topics led me or informed me how I wanted to go about my Ikigai. So there are core issues to both of these problems. So the first one being that a lot of this goes under the radar because anti-homelessness and architectural segregation are not easily detectable. People don't know that it's happening, and because of that, it continues and it just creates a vicious cycle. And when we're not able to see this or understand what it looks like, we're not able to bring awareness. And that's a really important part of change, is bringing awareness so that we can actually affect change and show some growth. And that's why it's important that we understand what it looks like so that we can move forward. And when we're able to move forward, then we're able to affect maybe some of the laws that are put into place, as there are harmful legislation that has been put into place that has targeted marginalized communities, especially Black and Brown communities. So, therefore, I present you with The Burden We Carry, Architectural Segregation and Anti-Homelessness, and this is my Ikigai that I plan to move forward with to combat architectural segregation and anti-homelessness. So, some of my mission and some of the hopes are seen through a three-step process. As I was developing my Ikigai, I kept referring back to this process, which helped me how I wanted to keep moving forward. So the first step of this is education, or bringing awareness. Essentially, the first step would be, of course, using my Ikigai report, but also doing a photo gallery during exhibition night. So we can't just put someone in a situation and expect them to know what to do, which is why you have to give them a foundation, which is where the education part comes into play. If you give people knowledge, then they know what to do with that, and from there they can hopefully affect change. But there has to be a specific way that you educate these people. You want to ensure that an individual can see something that you've taught them and take something away from it, and you don't want them just to be put in a situation and then completely forget it. You don't want it to go in one ear and out the other. So retaining that information is going to be a really important part when giving people new knowledge. And that's why I would be doing it through a photo gallery, because it's a little bit more different than just your usual article. It has a lot of memorability, and that's going to be a really important part of my Ikigai. And from then, if you're able to effectively educate people and it stays in their mind and they retain the information they learned, maybe they'll be able to extract something from what you taught them, and the end goal would hopefully be that we evolve or grow. So what makes my Ikigai special or different from anyone else? So we've seen that there's plenty of research everywhere about many topics, but the issue is that there's long blocks of text and walls of text that has an abundance of information, which is great, but not everyone learns in that way. You can't just give a bunch of information and expect someone to digest it the way you intended, which is why I think a photo gallery is most effective, because it'll ensure that an individual who steps into this photo gallery will be able to immerse themselves in the setting and in the atmosphere and hopefully take something away from that. And that's the goal, because when you take something away, you feel more inclined or compelled to affect change. So originally my idea was to do a podcast, But as I met with people and talked with them about what their Ikigai was and how they plan on executing it, I made some changes and realized that I wasn't really passionate about the podcast. And I realized that the photo gallery was actually going to be the most effective and impactful way to go about bringing awareness to architect segregation and anti-homelessness. Some of the things people mentioned was that a podcast might not reach your targeted audience in terms of how you put it out in the world, and in terms of knowing your audience as well. But also, there were some things that, or some components to a podcast that may affect how impactful it is, which it could be that if it were too long, then it would be too boring, and if it was too short, maybe it wouldn't be too engaging. And taking all this information into account, I decided that a photo gallery was going to be the most effective way to bring awareness. So I know that I'm destined for success because a photo gallery is a lot different from what we've seen. But not only that, I know that this project is going to be launchable. I plan to execute this during exhibition night, which is a great time because parents from the community will be coming to see their kids and their work, and naturally parents navigate their way throughout the school to see all exhibits during exhibition night. So people are more than likely to see my photo gallery, and hopefully with the right mood and setting an atmosphere that I set, people will feel like they've learned something new and carry that with them once they leave. So next steps, there's a lot of jumping off points I can take after the photo gallery, which is what's so great about it. I plan to take my findings and put them into a website, publish my report, because I put a lot of work into that and I think it would be effective for people to read it. Of course, you need to have a balance of writing and visuals. I think they play hand in hand and enhance your work. So hopefully a website will be done before June or before the end of the semester. Thank you so much for watching.